award-winning South African author Diane Awerbuck is joining me in studio. Now, she has just been shortlisted for the Caine Prize for writing in Africa. Or is it the Caine Prize for... Right, Caine Prize for
General
South
fantasticness.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's a short story award for African writers.
Yes, and it's called the Caine Prize for African writing. Okay, great. So, how does that feel?
It's very exciting. I'm laughing on the inside, but it's also quite nerve-wracking because I know some of the other writers and I've read some of their stories and they're really good, and I know that I don't have a snowball's chance. And that's okay, but...
You do. You do.
No, as a writer, you learn not to be too involved in the whole awards process because it can break your heart.
Well, as a writer, are you very critical of your own writing, I would imagine?
Well, I'm not just a writer, I'm a teacher and a reviewer, so that's my area of expertise when I look at writing. I'm not there as a kind of egotist, thinking that my prose is so beautiful, it should win. I know a good thing when I see it. And there's one story in particular that is a good thing, a very good thing.
Which story?
Sorry, for me it's not yours. Even though yours is very good too. It's My Father's Head by Okuri Oduor. She won the Short Story Day Africa award. And it's great. It has everything. It hits the sweet spot and deserves to win.
Well, you're on the short list with 4 other authors.
That's right.
And your story is called Phosphorescence. No,
it is
Phosphorescence from your Cabin Fever collection.
That's right.
What is Phosphorescence about?
Yowza. It's all stories about relationships and conflicts and misunderstandings that are resolved one way or another. And it's a story it's quite an African story, which is why I'm surprised that it's on the list. But it's based on a real place. In Sea Point there's Crafts Pool, which was this amazing public space because it was free, and there's so few things that are free. And it got bulldozed a few years ago. And nothing's been done to it now. It's just this kind of ruin. And I thought that was really sad and really awful. And the story is about a grandmother who lives in the flats, and she's obviously quite well off. And she's been sent her kind of delinquent granddaughter who's tried to kill herself. Wow. And it's just about this little moment where she suddenly sees something that she's never seen before on this beach because of her granddaughter. Yeah.
What inspired you to write this story?
I loved Crafts Pool. I like free public spaces. There's so few of them.
And they just become less and less, don't they?
And also just kind of standardized and modernized and commodified, and you've got to pay to do this. And I mean, you have to pay for your kids to go on jungle gyms. That's weird. That's horrible.
I didn't know that.
Well, no, not everywhere. But
I
thought all the cool ones, they want you to pay $20 per child. It's just ridiculous.
That is horrible.
And I feel like it's symbolic of a kind of social movement where nothing is free anymore, and everything is just kind of being thinned out and made less interesting, and that was one of those things.
Well, I think that's a great story, regardless of what you say.
It's a competent story. It's good. It ticks all the boxes, but it's not a great story. Yeah.
Were you surprised that it got so much international attention?
Very. It's the only one in my collection that has, actually.
And what's that feeling?
Major depression. No, it's just interesting because it's not. I mean, I think part of being an African writer is that it's not just in terms of the content, but the way you write and all that stuff. And I feel like Phosphorescence is kind of a story that could be set anywhere in the world, really. It just happens to be in Sea Point, whereas a lot of the other stories that I've written are intensely kind of African in feel and style, and there's some weird superstitious stuff that I really like, some horror, fun stuff. And I wish those would get more attention. There's the speculative fiction stuff. Yeah.
Well, who's your favorite author at the moment?
I'm
sure you hate that question.
No, it just makes me realize that everything I'm trying to do is so like in comparison. I just read Donna Tartt's The Goldfinch, which is almost
a lot of people are reading.
Yeah,
it right
it's
now.
Impossible to analyze why that book is so moving and beautifully put together and
very powerful story.
Yeah. But it's not. There's something about it that's just mesmerizing. And apparently, the museum where the actual painting of the goldfinch has just been kind of blown off
I can
the map.
only
Everyone
imagine
just
everyone
wants
wants
to
to go
see
there.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Yeah.
All right, and what's next for you as a writer?
I'm going to write a big fat commercial bestseller horror story.
Oh, very
set in the future. Yeah.
Very excited about this.
Yeah.
Are you a horror fan? You've mentioned it a couple times.
I write a lot of horror actually. My novel is quite horrific. It starts out as like a quite suburban mother just having a baby and feeling frustrated, and then kind of goes horribly wrong.
Well, you seem like this happy-go-lucky, sweet person. So where do you go to write this?
No, we all have those aspects of us. And writing, what writing does is it allows us to examine those things. Or singing, or painting, or acting, or anything creative it allows us to live those other lives.
So when you're writing your horror plots, how do you transfer from being this person you are now to this person who can think up and imagine these horrible things? Or does it just
tortured
happen?
childhood.
Does it just happen?
Well, that's part of what makes a writer a writer,
Yeah.
you know, that you have some kind of talent or craft. Well, you have a talent in it, you make a craft out of it, like someone who has a good singing voice. Not everyone does.
Yeah, I don't have one at all.
Well,
You win some, you lose.
Yeah. And everyone can be taught to write competently, but not everyone is a great writer.
Or has that creative ability and is able to translate that into work.
Well, almost everyone can be taught that.
Really?
Yeah, but not to the point where you think that it's so amazing, it's life-changing, they've found some truth of human existence and stated it in a way that no one stated it before.
Well, we are very excited for you.
Good. I want more pom-poms.
I know that you're not that excited.
I am excited. I am excited. I'm just trying to be realistic about it. Also,
Yeah.
I'm quite old as a writer, and a lot of the other writers are younger and they're just starting out, and it would be incredible for them to do the residency and to have the money, because it buys you time to write.
Well, our fingers are crossed for you.
Thank you.
How can people find out more about the rest of your work? Maybe read some of your horror novels.
Yeah, my publishers are Umuzi, and they have a website. There's lots of information there. Or just go to your bookshops and badger them until they stock me.